In this video, we are at the Great British Car Journey for Drive Dad's car. I must admit though, my dad did not have a Mark 1 Granada GXL. He did have a Hillman Hunter in quite a similar colour, but this would have been a dream for us growing up in the Midlands as we did. But for many people, of course, this is the iconic car from the Sweeney. Sadly, I can't see any cardboard boxes today, so we can't repeat any action scenes, but that's not really what Drive Dad's car is about. We have a little circuit to drive around. We get a feel for the old cars of yesteryear, and it's something you can do as well. This car and many others available as part of Drive Dad's car. This video not sponsored, they've just invited us along to have a play with their cars today, so huge thank you to the museum. I've got something else up my sleeve as well to drive a bit later on, but should be fun. And there are lots of other YouTubers here as well. In fact, we have a sneak peek. Look, what else is going on down here? It is a busy scene. We've got Kitch up and down is flirting with another Hillman imp. Very, very rude. Matt Furious is currently bombing around in a lovely old Wolseley. Steph iDriver Classic is driving a Paramount, a locally built car. So it's going to be a very interesting day, but let's talk more about the Ford Granada. So let's jump straight into the facts. Launched in 1972, the Mark 1 Granada was the third joint project between Ford Germany and Ford England. Eventually it all be consolidated completely into one European operating system, but back then the two were almost entirely independent until the 60s. The Ford Transit was the first joint development, Metric if it was a German one, or Imperial if it was in the UK with different engines. Ford Capri was the second one, and again, different engines from Ford Cologne or Ford in England. The Granada, no different. It was initially launched in England as the Consul or the Granada, Granada being the higher spec models. Engine choices were a 2-litre V4, 2.5 V6, which I think this is, or a 3-litre V6, the good old Essex engines. But after just a few years, the V4 was replaced by the Pinto as your 2-litre entry-level model. Germany also got a sleek coupe version. We got that later on, by which time they'd erased the hip kink. A very fine looking car indeed. But generally, I think this is a beautiful looking car. And while it did represent a bit of loss of independence for Ford England, the result was a car which is far, far superior to the preceding Zephyr Mark IV. And those reasons are not just the styling, which is a whole lot more wholesome on the Granada compared to the slightly odd Mark IV Zephyr Zodiac with its exceedingly long bonnet and stumpy tail, but also the rear suspension. It's still independent, just like it was on the Mark IV, but the geometry is far better. It offers really good ride and handling. In fact, motoring writers at the time compared it favourably with the likes of Citroën and BMW. So that is pretty impressive stuff. But I love the rear styling, these slightly concave rear lights, absolutely beautiful. The black panel obviously hints at a more executive status, and these lovely chrome bumpers. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking car. We've got the obligatory vinyl roof, so often a feature of cars at this time. It just works so well with this gorgeous bronze paint. Stepping aboard, you can see it's a world of vinyl in here. But this lovely steering wheel, we've got a big column stalk which does wipers and indicators. Oh yes, a proper horn for a proper car. Light switches here, got a little radio fitted. You will notice stuff, paraphernalia like this. We've got a couple of cameras mounted to the dashboard. I believe that's because you get a video as part of your driving dad's car experience to show you at the wheel. But a 3-speed gearbox, automatic, a slightly loose gear selector going on, which has caused mild issues. We've had some problems getting the car to start. It turned out it was just because that wasn't in place. But you know, these are working cars. These aren't classics that just sit in a showroom or in a museum. These actually come out and get driven by lots of people every year, and that's brilliant. It actually starts really well. It runs really nicely, as we will see soon. But yeah, lovely. Despite the vinyl, it's a lovely driving position. Very, very comfortable. Moving to the rear, lovely wide swinging door. And if I, oh, that's soft. jump aboard, it is really comfortable. Look at loads of leg room. There's plenty of headroom in here as well. It feels really big and really spacious. In fact, I think I wouldn't mind being chauffeured around in this. I've just noticed we've got an actual manual sunroof going on as well, but it's December, it's not the time to be trying that. But yeah, lots of space for the family. Could easily get 3 kids across this back seat. Far more comfortable than our old Hillman Hunter. Opening the boot. I got to use the key apparently. There we go. It's quite a high lip, but plenty of room for swag or the stuff you've managed to get from the bad guys if you need to collect your police evidence. But how big is it here? Oh, yeah. That's a really, really nice size. You could definitely get a body or 2 in here. I'm getting out now before they tell me off. Better have a look under the bonnet as well, wouldn't you say? Oh gosh, that's quite a heavy bonnet. Deploy the stay over there. There we go. And here we have the 2.5 litre Essex V6 engine, and quite an easy engine to work on. Loads of space around it for activities, and a decent amount of torque as well. They're quite torquey engines. I had the 3 litre version in the Reliant Scimitar once. Loads of grunt. Well, here we are behind the wheel. I'm belted up, ready to go. Start the engine. Very, very smooth. And you can mostly hear fan noise. But there's a lovely hard edge to the Essex V6, I think. Really interesting bit of kit. I cannot work out for the life of me how to wash the windscreen. We've got one stalk here. There's a switch here. Oh, it's a Mr. Kitch. Hello. He's driving another Hillman Imp. Very, very, very naughty of him. Yeah, you press the button on the end that turns the wipers on. The switch changes the speed. But yeah, I can't work out how you're meant to wash the windscreen. But there's a big triangle of doom there, probably best ignored. But because we're pointing into the sun, I'm going to get moving. Into drive. There she goes. Resist the urge to do a donut, which is quite large. That's UK barn finds, driving the Austin 1300 GT like I did the very first time I came here. So all sorts of people here today. We'll go and have a drive around and we'll see who we can see while we drive. Just make sure we don't crash into anyone. That'd be quite embarrassing, wouldn't it? But yeah, lovely, smooth drive. Put my foot down. Oh yeah, I think I've ended up the wrong side of the cones here, so we're going to do a quick slalom. There we go. We almost accidentally left the museum. There's Matt Furious filming his Wolseley over there. Yeah, for its day, quite brisk. Its day was a long time ago. It's no flying machine, but of course this is only the 2.5 litre as well. Be very interesting to drive one of the V4s. They have a very strange soundtrack. So this is the route you will take if you come and drive Dad's car. Lovely pink trucks of Seth Punchard there. They're lovely. But yeah, steering feels really nice. I think it's recirculating ball in these, if I remember rightly. But it feels really nice and tight. No play in it, and power assisted, so really, really light and easy to use. So very good indeed. And now we're just entering the straight. I'm just giving UK barn finds a bit of space because they're in a much slower, far inferior car to me, and they're also stuck behind the bin lorry, which is unfortunate for them. But yeah, that is slow to get going, I'm going to say. It's not helped by the automatic gearbox. It is quite lazy. There's a Kitch in his Imp. Having a lovely time, and Mrs. Kitch has come along today as well. Sadly, Miss Hubner is looking after a deranged little dog, so I'm shooting solo today. But yeah, it does ride really well. Obviously, this is a fairly slow course, so we're not going to get to experience the Sweeney style antics, and we can't really go chucking it down a fast A or B road. It's all about just the smells, the sights, the sounds. There's Wrenching Wench filming her Land Rover to the left. You cannot see that at all. Yeah, I mean, this is uneven ground and this is soaking it up really, really nicely. Well, we should try not to disturb Stephanie. She's driving a Sunbeam in here, and she's just filming the interior shots. I'll be Danny Hopkins of Practical Classics magazine. We're going to be doing a feature with Danny. Today we are having a very busy day. We are doing all sorts. Let's go and do one more lap in the Granada. Feels very much like my Australian Ford Fairmont, in all honesty. Very lazy, it's in no particular rush, it's got torque, it doesn't want to rev, it just wants to get you down the road with the minimum of hassle. And that's a really nice thing. So I think the driving Dad's car experiences start at about £49. This one's probably a bit more. I'm going to indicate here as we're going right. Out of my way, peasants! That blooming kitsch. Yeah, this is a really likeable car. And you can see how it transformed Ford's fortunes in the large executive car market. The Zephyr Zodiac 4 just hadn't hit the spot, and the Granada really did elevate Ford to a new level of status in that class. And that continued with the Mark II Granada. We've tested one of those on the channel, and into Mark III Granada Scorpio as well. Oh, she will hitch her skirts up and go. Oh yes, it's a really lovely car. Oh, well, there we have it, folks. The wonderful Mark I Granada that you could drive as part of the Drive Dad's Car experience here at the Great British Car Journey. And even just pottering around this estate, it just reminds you what a great car this was. An absolute game changer for Ford, and a very beautiful car as well. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store if you would like to purchase some lovely merchandise, and we shall see you in a future video. Farewell.